I'm joined today by Inderpreet Shoker, an analyst at ARC Advisory Group, to talk about fire safety systems in both commercial and residential properties. Inderpreet, welcome.
Thank you so much.
Clearly there is a huge variation in the kind of fire safety systems and solutions that are out there. I guess it depends upon the different types of buildings that we're dealing with. Well, walk us through that if you would. What do you say?
Yeah, sure. You're absolutely right. When it comes to fire safety, I would say we can categorize building types into three categories. First one would be individual single-family homes, and then second one is a very broad category where we can put bigger residential complexes, commercial properties, offices, malls, auditoriums, and third one would be industrial facilities, industrial plants. So the difference is that as we go on from single-family homes to larger properties to industrial facilities, the level of risk increases. So as the risk increases, we need more safety measures. For example, I would say in single-family homes, we see two types of detectors. We see smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors. We know that how these function. Whenever these detect something, we hear a local alarm. It's a little more complex when it comes to bigger properties. Here we see carbon monoxide detector, we see smoke detector, but we also see heat detectors. And whenever these detect something, they send a signal to a central control station, which is what we call a fire alarm panel. And then these alarm panels send signal to notification devices, such as horns, strobes, lights, to alert everybody in the building. And then we move on to industrial facilities. These facilities, they deal with a lot of harmful gases, a lot of harmful chemical. So they not only need to detect carbon monoxide or smoke, they need to detect other harmful gases that they deal with. It could be hydrogen sulfide, hydrogen, carbon dioxide, methane, ethane, a lot of other harmful gases. So in this facility types, we see a lot of gas detectors for all these gases. And then we need another layer of protection as well, just to make sure that if these point detectors miss out on something, then we have other technologies to find that gas leak. So we see open path gas detectors, we see ultrasonic gas leak detectors. So these are the main detector types. Here we also see flame detectors because, you know, in case these detectors miss and there is a fire, we want to know about that fire as soon as possible. So because the level of risk in these facility types is huge. So that's the major difference, I feel.
Well, clearly then the complexity increases as the number of people and the sophistication of the equipment and the physical plants that you're dealing with increase as well. You know, we hear an awful lot these days about smart cities, about smart infrastructure. Well, I just wonder how it is that these fire safety systems that we're talking about, how they feature into or figure into these smart cities, this smart infrastructure. Illuminate that for us, if you would. Walk us through that.
Absolutely, Russ. You are absolutely right. At this ARC forum, we are hearing so much about smart cities and smart infrastructure. Even at ARC, we have started to research a lot more into this area. And the good thing is that what we hear is that safety remains a critical component of smart cities and smart infrastructure, which is a very good thing, as I think. A lot of innovation is coming into this space, and we are seeing a lot of smart features. Probably, I would say, more so in the non-industrial side of it, but things are changing very quickly. I would just give one example that we all have heard of the company Nest, and they are very popular for their smart thermostats, but they also make a smart smoke detector, which whenever there is an alarm, not only sound a local alarm, but also send a signal to your cell phone through an app, which is, I think, a great feature because a lot of the times, these small incidences turn into a major accident when homeowners are not at home. So in this scenario, when you get an alert on your app, then even if when you are not at home, you can do something about it. Maybe you can alert your neighbor or call the fire department. So you can take a lot of actions and protect, something from escalating into from a small incident to a major one.
Somebody really wants to know about this type of system. I guess the question might be, walk me through the major trends that are going on in the fire safety industry. Well, what would you tell them?
Actually, we recently finished a report on fire alarm systems. And I would say the trend that was highlighted a lot during that research was of integration. It was of integration of fire alarm systems with other building systems, such as access control system or mass notification systems. Users are actually realizing the benefits of integration. One thing is that they can manage all these systems better when all the signals come to one central station. And they're also realizing that it can save them money because fewer resources are now required. Talking about the industrial side, the one trend that I would like to highlight is of the acceptance of wireless gas detectors. Well, wireless gas detectors have been around for many, many years, but earlier plant managers would say, I'm not going to install a wireless gas detector. It's not reliable enough or it's not robust enough. But as I said, a lot of innovation is going on, and now we have wireless detectors that are reliable and robust. So we are seeing robust acceptance of these detectors.
You know, here's the higher reality, I think. We have all of this technology, and yet we have so many fires that are taking lives, destroying property, etc. Last year, just for example, in London was that tragic Grenfell Tower fire that killed so many people. What is it that we are missing, given that we have the technology at our disposal? What do you say?
Well, that's extremely unfortunate that, you know, even with all the technology that we have around us, such a large-scale accident happened. I think probably what we are missing is that sometimes we fail to use the technology properly, and sometimes we fail to implement the right technology. And I think both of these happened in case of Grenfell Tower, because early reports have suggested that the fire alarm panel system failed to send a signal on time. So when we implement any safety critical systems, such as these fire alarm panels, we need to test these regularly and make sure that these work. So whenever we need them, these actually do their job. So I think that's what went wrong in this case. Another thing is that a mass notification system, such as in this tower, would have helped a lot, because a lot of building occupants, they said that they were only made aware of the fire by their neighbors, you know, people banging at their doors. So a mass notification system would have alerted everyone on time so that more people would have evacuated. So could have helped save a lot more lives, I think. My hope is that we just learn some lessons from this and hope that this doesn't repeat in future.
Well, it seems to me that it's not just a matter of technology infrastructure, but a more informed, more alert human infrastructure as well. Inderpreet, I know you're busy here, but you found time to speak to us about this very important matter. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
It's Inderpreet Shoker, analyst, ARC Advisory Group, and speaking with us today about fire safety systems and solutions in the enterprise as well as in the consumer space. Thank you for watching.